A warning to women under 40 years old. Once you run out of time, it's over. Now obviously that doesn't mean that no man will ever want you again. No, that's ridiculous. However, the option of choice is now diminished. But one sad reality about a lot of women is they assume it will always be like this. Like how they are in their 20s and early 30s, they assume men will always be there wanting them to the same level and at the same value. And it's like, no. When the choice is no longer theirs, a lot of women have to settle for what they can get.
My birthday is this week and I'm turning 47.
Okay.
And I'm getting a lot of people wishing me happy birthday, which I am very grateful for. Thank you so much for remembering and for thinking of me. And also they keep asking me, why am I single?
Why?
And I think I could sum it up by saying I'm looking for a man who's willing to do the things that I'm willing to do to be in an adult grown relationship. And let me give you a couple of examples. Be reliable, be trustworthy, be honest, be fun. But if you're even low medium fun, I can kind of take care of that because I'm really fun.
Oh, that's nice. A fun, bubbly 47-year-old woman.
An adult grown relationship.
I hope you're focused and on your square. Now that's cute. But the question is, are your demands, your requirements right now, what they always were?
Grown relationship.
I mean, have you always thought like this? Have you always wanted men who were like that?
Grown.
Because that's part of the problem. You see, at her age now, at 47, it's normal and understandable for what she wants. But what happened to the decades before that? I mean, what happened 20 years ago? 20 plus years ago? Did you want the same thing from men?
Grown.
Did you? Because my point is, this is something men understand, but women never want to take this into account. Whatever you were doing those decades ago will have an impact on how men see you now. Now, obviously, no man can ever know what you were doing 20 years ago unless there was video evidence, so most men will never know. However, a lot of women develop certain attitudes, frames of thinking, characteristics that are very obvious. In other words, you can see as a man. So the point is, whereas a lot of women at this age now,
Grown.
they want that secure, stable, fun man. It wasn't the man they always wanted. It was never the man they always wanted. A lot of women have a past of reckless dudes and reckless, risky fun.
Chaos.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But women never seem to understand how insulting it is to act like because of what you want, those men over there don't exist until you run out of time.
Grown.
That's where it's always insulting. That's where it's always like, so why didn't you stay in those situations you were in before? Why don't you continually date those men you were dating 20 years ago? But here's a point where a lot of women, they then talk their nonsense. Because look, even as men, I rarely hear men say they want to date a different woman 20 years later than what they were dating before. Now, you can understand a lot of men are going to date some reckless women, but the odd thing is, men from the beginning, it seems, if they're looking for something serious, they're always looking for something serious. They always have been.
Grown.
But a common thing for a lot of modern women is, oh, I'll look for serious later. I'll look for serious later on. But that's part of the problem. And it's an obvious thing I've seen over these years. A lot more men seem to want stability in their younger years compared to a lot of modern women. So a lot of modern women have all their fun. And then they want that normal, stable man. Whereas a lot of men, they wanted normal and stability from they were younger. Now, again, a lot of the narratives women hear nowadays, oh, have your fun in your 20s and then look to settle down in your 30s. But by that point, the men that they would want would have seen certain patterns, adjusted to these patterns. If they were lucky enough to find a decent woman in that time, they may be married and have kids. So they're off the market. But what happens is a lot of men realize that a lot of these women will waste your time. They'll take advantage of you and your time, your valuable time, until they are running out of time. And then when they reach late 30s, early 40s and so on, they become desperate.
Grown.
They start to radiate desperation. And a sad reality for a lot of women is they act as if men don't see it, as if men can't smell it, as if men can't feel it. It's like, whoa, woman, easy. You had decades to find a secure man, but all you're doing was just fucking drinking and smoking. And yeah, it's good you've got that out your system. But damn, woman, I don't see you as a wifey.
Be reasonable. I also decided in 2025 I'm going to keep much more meticulous data on how many dates I'm going on, because I can't say how many I went on in 2024, but it was kind of a lot, and this is what men typically do. And this is why I stay single. The biggest problem I see is they say one thing and do another. They haven't learned how to appropriately express their wants and needs so that I can do my best to try to meet that, and they can do the best when I also express them.
No offense, lovely woman, but did you have those demands in your 20s? I doubt she did. We don't know her, but it would not be surprising if she didn't care about any of that stuff in her 20s. when she was having all that fun. That wouldn't be surprising. So again, the point is, when they change their own narrative,
grown,
those free-loving men still exist, but it's women's mind frame that has changed. Where it's like, as a man, if you didn't want this before, why do you think men are so gullible to believe you want it now? Clearly you're running out of time, but I mean, now you want this? Now you want security?
Now a warning?
Really?
Something. They're unsure if they want to be in a committed relationship. They still have things that maybe a therapist needs to get involved with that are getting in the way of them of being full companions and partners.
Okay, but when you were younger, did you care that these men needed therapy? Or were they just exciting? It's exciting, it's thrilling. Do it for the plot. I'm sure you've got a lot of plot lines, haven't you? Again, using her as an example. But again, did you care about their therapy in your 20s? You didn't, did you?
And lastly, they try to rush relationships. So don't get me wrong, in 2025, I am definitely looking for a long-term committed relationship. And I am willing to do all of the things that I just said so that we can have two people working towards big goals
Lovely.
all together. But until then, I'm going to stay single.
Again, using her as an example, it's not about this woman, it's about many women in this age category. It's like, for everything you want now, is it what you've always wanted?
There is a lot of talk about a dating crisis in general, but specifically with heterosexuals right now. Like, it's everywhere. It's all over my Instagram feed. And like, I find
the straights are in trouble.
Yeah. And well, I mean, people don't even afraid. They're just like, dating is really bad. Dating sucks. And people, what's funny is people will always say, oh, it sucks in London. And then like people in New York, like, it's really bad in New York. And I'm like, it's bad everywhere. It's
pretty much Western culture. Some would say it's not even just Western culture, it's the entire world. But yes, in Western culture, we can see very obviously, very clearly, the amount of tech we have to assist people in dating, where on one hand, the tech is causing a lot of problems.
often framed as being about the technology we use, like dating apps and this disposability culture. And I think that like plays a role, but I think it's overstated, because I think what I argue in the book is fundamentally, which affects men as well as women, is there is a crisis of expectation. But this crisis of expectation is that, as I discussed, like, women have greater autonomy financially and in terms of social stigma, good thing. But that means that women, and I include myself in this, would like emotional reciprocity from a partner. They are looking for like life partnership, which is a tall order, because, you know, people like Esther Perel always sort of talk about how we're expecting one person to provide what a village used to, essentially, like a confidant, your sexual partner, like co-parent, someone that you run your finances with. Like, it's a lot for life on a voluntary basis with no social conventional laws basically trapping you in it. But women are looking for that. And I think the problem for men...
grown,
Indeed, they are. But at what stage in their life are they looking for that? Which is the point of this video. It's when are they looking for that? When? Because if she's a young woman in her 20s and all she wants is a 666 man, he doesn't need to be this caring, loving dude, please. That may turn a lot of women off. Oh, he's too loving and caring. I'm not used to this. Indeed. So the question is, when do women want what you've just said? As a lot of men have experienced, it's when they're older. It's not now in her young hot 20 years. No. And again, that's fine. It's what she wants to do. That is fine. Perfectly fine.
grown,
However, when they get older and act as if men like that don't exist, they're hard to find, they've never existed, that is not men's problem. That is women's problem. They don't seem to understand. They create their own chaos. They create their own bad luck in terms of men.
to this day,
Because to see women go from these free-loving, free-spirited women to then some of them becoming angry and bitter and very desperate in a decade and a half or so, it's weird. It's weird to see. A lot of men have seen this with their own eyes. Oh, back then she didn't want you. Now you're up, now you're hot, now she wants you? Woman, no.
shrimp tacos,
I've improved, but I'm the same man I was back then. You've fallen off. I will never see you the same again, which is what a lot of young women go through. Then they reach the wall and complain, act as if men are just horrible, ageist, misogynistic bastards that do not see them as human. It's like, that's not the case. The real question is, why do so many women not see certain men as human until they become desperate?
bingo,
Yeah.
Women are looking for that. And I think the problem for men is men, millennial men who are younger, have not been socialized often to provide that. But nor have they been like my grandfather, who would have understood his role, is that his role was to provide financially, to provide a home. That was what being an upstanding man was. And
Yeah, that was your grandfather. I'm sure he was a man.
Grown.
I'm sure your grandfather was a man, not a bad boy. Not a bad boy. Yeah, which seems to be the taste and type for a lot of young women. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But women have set this standard where you can be a trashy, bummy dude. Yeah, you probably get money, but you're a trashy, bummy dude. I'm sure your grandfather wasn't that. I'm sure your grandfather was a man. So from a young age, your grandfather understood how to be manly. Like a lot of men understand how to be manly. However, for a lot of these young women, they want a bad boy. Please, a man? Oh, you're too boring. You're too normal. Nah, she wants the edge, the chaos, the fun and thrill of a bad boy. It's like they're all reading from the same playbook. And that's fine again. However, when their frontal lobe develops, cap. When they mature, cap. Then they want this stable, emotionally intelligent man. It's like, woman, you've been f***ing drug dealers and bad boys for the past 20 years. That's your level. Stay there.
If you were kind and gentle, that was a bonus. But like men now aren't able economically to do that, especially working class men. Like the reality is
do they need to? You can be a handsome bum, a tall bum, and have 10 baby mothers. Who set that standard?
That there aren't those same, I don't want to say patriarchal spoils, because sometimes it's the bare essentials of living, but there isn't that provider role. There also, just isn't the same level of like housing, wage security, etc. Women, most households have to be 2 income. And they're also not raised, male socialization does not raise boys as a rule to speak in an emotional register that speaks to women, that like is able to.
But how common is it now for women to talk about the nonchalant man? Oh, he's quiet. He barely talks. He's very nonchalant and quiet. And it's like, no, woman, he's not nonchalant and quiet. He just lacks social skills. He can't talk much. Again, another standard set by women. Men that lack social skills and can't talk very much, and they have nothing going on for them, those men would suffer in modern day and time if it wasn't for women.
No, I can fix it.
No. But again, all you have to be nowadays is either good looking enough, have a bit of money, be tall enough, just be a basic certain thing. And a lot of women will take you, disregard red flags, traumatize themselves, because if she likes you, she'll lie to herself. That's beautiful. Then once they've hit the wall, they're smashed up, ruined, traumatized, then they expect new men to treat them far better than what they used to.
Grown.
No. A lot of men don't need to have social skills nowadays. A lot of men know they don't need to have social skills. A lot of men don't even need to be able to talk to women on a deeper level. That's ridiculous. For a lot of women, that would give them the ick. Oh, you're talking too much. Please, be quiet and broody like I like. Yeah? Again, I'm a man. Again, you hear this nonsense all over the internet. The quality of men a lot of women want nowadays, they only want those men when they get too old to have the fun they once used to have. That's where it's insulting. That's why a lot of men are not playing. That's why a lot of men have realized, woman, I'm not here to be a runner-up after you've had all your fun. I'm not here to save you. I'm not a savior of a man. If you didn't like stable, focused men in your 20s, the F you think I'm going to believe you like it now. Good luck. And you only like it now because you have no choice.
That emotional reciprocity. And I think that's a crisis. I think both sides are looking for something. It's a huge generalization, but I think that there is a crisis of expectation there.
And the expectation from women is to be a man who doesn't see and notice these things. They really hope you're a gullible simp nowadays.
I'm so exhausted from having interactions with men at the gym. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm over it. There is nothing I can nor want to do for a man, and yet a lot of this going on from them. Okay, let me explain what happened. So I'm at the gym, it's like 1 o'clock on a random weekday. There's no one there. There's equipment that's open. It's very empty in there. And I'm noticing this guy kind of like hop from equipment to equipment. And the only reason why I peep this is because he's in very close proximity to me. And I always have my high alerts on when there's a male like in my space. Me, another woman, okay? So both of us are working both on 2 sets, so we've been there for some time. I hear a voice behind me saying, oh, I was on that machine.
Okay, before she continues, let's separate this topic. I'm not here to talk for dudes acting weird, being dodgy, following women, pursuing women in weird, flipping dumb ways. I don't talk for those men. However, regardless of him, this woman is doing something very common on the internet nowadays, complaining about men who may be interested in her. Now again, using her as an example. Of course, she did not want that man to talk to her and he was being weird, we understand. But when so many men who are not like that hear women like this talking, hear these topics every single day, see the likes, the amount of comments, those men take it personal even though they shouldn't because they're not like that. However, this is part of the disparity in modern dating because of the internet, because men are being drowned by the amount of women saying, don't approach me, don't talk to me, you see me at the gym, don't even look at me, sort of vibes. Now, this is a young, lovely woman. There's no guarantee that attention's always going to be there. Eventually, she'll be replaced by other young, hot, 20-plus-year-old women, and she would have aged out of the market. Still look good, still be dateable and wantable and bangable, all that type of stuff. But compared to a 20-year-old, no. A lot of young women have an inflated ego about themselves. They have an inflated ego. An ego they think will last forever. But the reality is, when time catches up to a lot of women, and they can see that they can go to a gym and men won't even look at them that much anymore, that's when the reality hits these women that you were never that special, but you looked good enough to garner that much attention. Literally, that's all it was. And even though you hear women complain about the attention, once it's gone and never coming back, yeah, that's when a lot of women become bitter. And they then hate men. They hate the men that wasted their good years, and they regret giving their good years to so many trash men. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you wanted, wasn't it? There's no going back.
So I turn around and I notice it's the same guy. I politely say, I'm sorry, I did not see a water bottle or a shirt or anything left on here. He replies, oh, I didn't leave anything on there, but that's still my machine. So I look at my partner and I look back over at him and I said, okay, we have one more set left, and then we'll be gone. He continues to stand there hovering. He's like right here, okay? So I turn around again and I say, is there something else that I can help you with? He says, and I kid you not, damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that. I was so shook.
All right. He didn't need to say that, but I mean,
damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that.
All right, look, I'm not even going to say anything, but yeah, okay.
Look, at this point, my partner's taking her headphones off and I'm getting up from the chair and I said, excuse me? Literally giving him a chance to emotionally collect himself again before repeating what the hell he just said. And like all males, he did not get it. He repeats himself again. Damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that.
Wow. Damn, he said it again. They probably thought you were hard of hearing.
Damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that. So literally, me and my partner, we just look at each other and we start laughing, just belly laughing. There is nothing more satisfying than watching a face of a male not get a reaction that he wanted. And ladies, when I tell you, that struck a nerve. He was so upset. We end up mocking him like, oh, we're bitches. Look at us bitches on the leg extension machine, cracking up, right? This man completely shut down. I've never seen a grown man completely just cower and then leave.
Now again, we are not talking in support of that man being weird to these women and calling them a bunch of
damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that.
Dusty bitches, not what he said, but the entire vibe she has about it would make men who aren't like that, would make men who are normal, would make men who even she may be attracted to cautious in even approaching her. Because even though a man may not be that dude, hearing the way she's expressing it would make a lot more men cautious in even approaching a woman like this.
Damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that.
So again, we get the point. A dude harassing her and her friend, but it creates a broader understanding in men yo, you know what? To leave these women alone completely.
But the best part of the story is there is an identical machine open right next door.
So what I'm realizing about dating in my 20s is everyone's either in love with their ex and never gonna fall in love again or believe in falling in love again. They've never been in love and have absolutely no relationship experience, or they're in a relationship. No one's just yeah, I've been in a relationship before and I moved on from it and I'm chill now. What the fuck? Or people are still talking to their ex, or people are talking to everyone, or people just are emotionally unavailable.
And it's one thing about a lot of these young women is some of the men they're dating now are going to be the men that shape the rest of their life. Now, like she said, a lot of partners are still hung up on their ex. Indeed. So a lot of men meeting women in their late 30s and 40s, it's not shocking or surprising that this woman is still hung up on her ex.
Damn, you ain't got to talk to me like that.
Who by that point, she was probably with for about 10 years. 6 to 10 years, whatever. Another point not commonly spoken about, how you can meet a lot of women in their 30s, 40s, but how many of them are hung up on their ex, are still in love with their ex, obsessed with their ex, and you're just a placeholder because she found her fun man in her 20s, but then she got older and he no longer wants her anymore, but she's still hung up on him. Yeah, but then a man in his 40s should see her as brand new when she's still stuck in the past.
Are emotionally unavailable. Just kidding. I'm emotionally available for the right people. Who is the right people? Never mind. I also think the term "I'm not looking for a relationship right now" is subjective, because as soon as someone comes into your world that you are looking for a relationship with them, then your statement is rescinded. You're not looking until something pops up and then all of a sudden you're checking. What the f*** are y'all doing? Bro, we just want to be hugged and understood, you know? Loneliness is not virtuous at all. I do really truly believe in intentional singlehood and like figuring yourself out and not looking for that stuff in other people. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved, bro.
I mean, but that is a problem of modern dating. A lot of people are looking for something in another human being without finding it first in themselves.
We're all just doing our best at the end of the freaking day. Who's to say what's what? I don't know.
For a lot of women, their 20s are their best years in terms of the opportunities to find a husband. But if they waste those years, a man will never see her as a wife. The world is yours. Have a nice day.
Grown relationship.
Damn, bitch, you ain't gotta talk to me like that.
Like that.